This is a full manual for TI-30XS Multiview scientific calculator. A larger screen, click on this area of the player. You will see the menu when you touch it, so you can see all the chapters and touch to move to that section of the video. This is a full manual for Texas Instrument TI-30XS Multiview scientific calculator. So the calculator comes in a package like this. I'll provide you the affiliated links below the video. When you purchase it, I will receive a commission. It will help me. I'm going to use this one because I have two of this. The calculator comes with this cover and a protector, and here there is some information sheet which you can remove, double-sided, quick reference. You can insert it back here, and so when you put this in your backpack or anywhere, make sure to put the cover like this so it is protected. Otherwise these numbers might rub off and also the screen might get damaged. What you cannot do with this calculator: first, you cannot solve polynomials with this calculator. You cannot solve simultaneous equation. You cannot do matrix. For that you have to get the other model, but for everything else this is amazing for most of the jobs that you want to use, and also excellent price. Now to turn on the calculator, I'm pressing this on button. It is on. To turn it off, we press the second function and then off. Pay attention that off is written on top of the on key. Now I'm turning it on back. If there is no activity in 5 minutes, the calculator will turn off. To change the contrast, we press this second function and plus, which increase the contrast of the screen. As you can see, it has increased significantly. To decrease it, we do the second function and negative. Now, this calculator can display 4 lines, and in each line 16 characters. Every time you press, for example, the second function, it shows here the indicator for the second function that has been pressed. And if on the screen you will see degree, this is the angle unit, and we will see if you're working with scientific feature, it will be SCI, and if there is K on the screen, it means it's constant, and if you see this symbol on the screen here, it means performing an operation. And if we see arrow here, it means there are information available which we can scroll, and we are going to have a look at it. This 4 arrow key is to scroll through the information on the screen and also select something. Instead of equal sign, we have a enter here. Enter is the same as equal or execute. So this clear button will clear one line or the full screen, depending on the feature, depending on the availability of information. And we have a delete button. If I type 5 and press this, it can be deleted. Using delete, you can delete. And the second function key represents any green key that you see here. Anything that is green can be activated using the second function. And they're the same color. For example, this square root sign, if I clear the screen, if I press this, it's now something answer squared. But if I press second function and the same button, square root is there, and we see square root where we can enter value for the square root. This button is another important button for toggling the answer from decimal to fraction and the other type that is available depending on the feature. If we press the mode button, this button, there are some options available on the screen. Degree, for example, that this line is for the angle unit, for the type of data, number of floats, and type of operation of the calculator. For example, degree, angle unit degree, radian, and gradient. Each of them right now, this line is selected and it's blinking. With the arrow, I can go to the right, select and press enter. Any of these can be selected. Normal display result of information, the second line. For example, it can be displayed something like this. If you go to scientific notation, we can, I'm exiting, so mode, and then go down until you see scientific notation and press enter. When you enter, the highlight is there, select it and press clear to exit. Now we are in scientific operation. SCI is displayed on the screen. And this one displays everything as a power of 10. For example, if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and equal sign, you will see it's multiplied by 10 and with some power. Always we will have 10. Or you can see 15.3, for example, times E3. This E means exponent or times 10 to the power 3. So this E represents times 10. And if we go to engineering mode, let's go mode down and let's go to engineering and enter and clear to exit. In this case, everything is represented as the value from 1 to 999 as an integer power multiple of 3 as power of 10. For example, if I enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and enter, you see this is now represented as a power of 10. That one, the base was 10, the top was changing. This is always the top will be 3. Based on that, it will be represented. Then we have float. It sets number of decimal values. For example, 1 divided by 7923 equal. So to do this operation, let's change the mode back to normal, come down, and then norm is selected, press enter. So all the settings are default. Now all clear, and let's do this operation. 1 divided by 923, and then now 1 divided by 7923 equal. The answer is like that. But if we select 4 decimal 4 floating point, go to mode, come down to float, and then move it to 4, for example. This is just an example. 4 is selected, I pressed enter, clear. Now if I do the same thing, I can either type it or just simply press enter. Now 1 divided by 7923, you see that we have 4 decimal value, 4 floating value, up to 4, up to 1. The rest has been discarded. If I have here 0.003 and then we have 5. If I enter it, you will see this will be rounded as 6. 5 will be added, 1 more, and it will be rounded. So it keeps rounding and keeps the number of decimal value. Go to math, and here first let's change it back to float. Float is selected, and then it's on math print. Clear sets the display format for input and output. For example, if we want to input 3/5, we can do 3 and then over. This is a fraction symbol, and then 5. And if I press enter, we get something like this, 3/5. But there is a button, and we can use this button here to change it if we want it. Now let's go to classic mode. Mode, come down to classic and press enter. Highlight has been moved. Clear. Now if I want to do 3/5, it shows as a slash instead of fraction, like the way we write it. And if I press enter, the value is displayed like that, but we can toggle the value to see it as 0.6. So it will affect the input and output. Let's change it back. Come down and math print, enter. So classic mode, if we select it, these are the type of input and the output will be displayed like that. And then for math print, input, the same as input and output. We can change it if you do the toggle, but we are going to have a lot of examples, so we are not going to spend time on this here. This, let's press clear. This 4-way key is to navigate through information. For example, if we have 3 plus 5 and enter, let's go 8 plus 2, 8 plus 2, enter. 4 times 7. So this is a symbol for multiplication that is shown on the screen the same way that you see it on computers. And 12 minus 3, minus 3. Now, we can go, let's add some 55 times 9, one more. So the top value disappeared first. You see these two arrows, they're going up and down. It shows that we have information. Now if I go to the top one, you see that it is one arrow, which means there is nothing up, but below the screen there is something. Now the most important thing that you should remember is that if I bring this here, anything that is highlighted, it's being ready to copy it to the operation. For example, if you want to work with 28, just bring this with the arrow up, enter, 28 is here. Now you can do something. Now we can do something with it, for example, plus 6 or whatever. Or if you want to bring the whole operation, for example, this one, just press enter. It will be copied and pasted here for you. All clear. Now one time. Now second time, it cleared the screen. Now the second function, when we press it, as I said, it goes to one of these green color that we have at the bottom. Now I'm not going to mention, for example, if we press second function and sine, this sine is converted to sine inverse. So on the screen in this tutorial, I'm going to put inside a parenthesis with the green color, so you know that this is not the actual button, but rather I'm referring to the second function. So this is the convention that I'm going to use in this tutorial. So it means the second function key is pressed. We have normal keys, which these are the same color. I used it, for example, STO is an example. And then we have keys with a white background, all of these, including the enter. And then we have some gray color, which are different on this area. The toggle answer, let's say we want to get square root of 8. I'm pressing second function, it's activated. Now square root is this. So now 8 and enter, 8 and enter. Now the result is here because we are in math print mode. And if you want to toggle it, press this button here to toggle the information. As you can see, it shows that the value is here and it has been toggled. And it has been toggled as a decimal. If I press the toggle again, it toggles this value to fraction or exact values. Now we can use last answer, for example, clear 3. So now let's have a look at the order of operation in this calculator. The order of operation is as follows. Number 1, it performs inside parentheses. Number 2, a function that needs to be closed, like sine, open is there, and then close log, and all R and P. All rectangular and polar values. Number 3, fractions will be evaluated like this or like this. And number 4, fraction entered after arguments such as x squared, angle unit, modifier. Number 5, exponent and roots will be evaluated. Number 6, negation like -5. Number 7, permutation and combination, NPR, NCR. 8 multiplication, implied multiplication and division will be evaluated. 9 addition and subtraction will be evaluated. And 10 the conversion, for example, from the fraction or decimal degree, minute and second. Number 11, when you press enter, completes all operation and closes all open parentheses. For example, if we do 60 times if we do 60 plus 5 times minus 12, let's do it. 60 plus 5, if we do 60 plus 5 times minus, for minus I'm using this button, which we are going to have a look at it later. It's just a quick introduction. As you can see, 5 times 12 is 60, and 60 minus 60 is 0. Or if we do like this, 1 plus minus 8 plus 12, that's 5. So, and the same way in this order of operation, this will be performed first and then 16. Now if I go second function and then 9, after that if I go plus 16, in this case this is under the square root and have been evaluated first and then square root at the end. Or if we have 4 parentheses open, 2 plus 3, in this case 2 plus 3 is performed first and then the parentheses. I press clear second function and 3 squared plus 4 squared. These exponents will be evaluated first, this will be evaluated and then will be added and then the square root. Now let's see how we can work with memory and stored variables. This calculator has memories such as X, Y, Z, T, A, B, C. These are the name of variables that you can store, and they can store real number or expression that resolves to real number. They cannot store imaginary values. Let's see now if we want to store 3, 4, 5 in a variable memory X. So we do 3, 4, 5 and then store button here at the bottom. Store, and then this button has X, Y, and Z. If you press it multiple times, you get different values. I'm pressing once and it's X, and press enter. So this has been stored now. If we want to store 2 times 5 into variable T, then we will do 2 times 5 store, and after that we press this button until we see T here. So 1, 2, 3 times 4 times T, and then enter. So the value evaluated and stored in 10. We can do also 7 times cosine of 45, the result to A. 7 times cos 45. We can close it or even leave it, does not matter. And then store and press this until you see A here. A, and then enter. So the results have been evaluated and stored. To recall a memory value, we use a recall button, which is the same as store, but we have to press second function. For example, to recall value of X. Now to recall value of X, press second function, recall. It shows all the value here on the screen. X is 3, 4, 5. And then let's see if I go down, this arrow shows that we have more values. T is 10, A is this value, and B is 0. If I press it, it goes to C and it comes back. So to X, we can press enter here or press 1. The value is available, and you can either add something or simply press enter. Now let's see if we want to use 5 times A, whatever is a value A. I just enter some value because I cleared it. 5 times, and then we don't need to recall or anything, just press this until you see A. It is multiplied by that value. To recall and see all the values, the same as before, shift recall, we can see the values. I've cleared them all, and A has 4.6. Clear to exit. Now let's do some math functions with this calculator. If we want to do 3 over 5, we will write 3 over 5 and press enter. Depending on the mode, the result will be displayed. Because we are now in math print mode, we will see it. If you want to toggle it, press this button to toggle it. Now if you want to add two fractions, 4 over 3 with the arrow, go to the right, plus 1 over 2, and then enter. This is the answer. You can of course toggle it if you want. If you want to do the mixed fraction here, we can do a 5-second function and the same fraction. Now we can do 4. We can go to the right or down. This arrow does not matter, whichever, right or down. If I go right, also it goes at the bottom. 3 and then enter. It has been evaluated. 3 over 5, enter and toggle. You can toggle it. Again in math print mode. We can also do this button. This is fraction and decimal. It says F and D. In this case, we can press second function and F and D. It becomes 0. 6 is coming here. It says you want to convert it. Toggle it. It becomes fraction. And if I fraction F and D, so it becomes 0.6. So that's another thing that we just learned. Now let's go to classic mode. Mode and classic. We know already how to use it. Mode. Come down to classic. It's blinking. Press enter. It has been selected. Clear to exit. And now 3 over 5 is displayed like that on the screen. Toggle it. You can see it. And the same way second function we can do like that. Now we are going to learn how to do percentage calculation with this calculator now. The first example is the most common one, when we say 20% of 1,500. Here we type 20, and for the percent we press second function, 20% times 1,500 times 1,500, and that is 300. The result, so 300, so 20% of 1,500 is 300. The second example is different. It says 300 is what percent of 1,500? We know the answer, which is 20, but let's see how we can do it. So we type 300 times 100. 100 is because the percent is based on 100, and divided by 1,500, and we get 20. This was the second way, and the third one is 1,500 is 20% of what value? In this case, we know it's 300. So 1,500 times 20 divided by 100, and it will give you the 300. So 300 is 20% of 1,500. I'll give you two more examples here for, let's say you want to add tax or add some percentage. Let's say you have 3,000 and you want to add 15% tax on it. For that, we save 3,000 and then 20%, 15% of 3,000. So 15 shift percent times 3,000. So this is very simple. 15% times 3,000 is that 15% of 3,000 plus this value. So we are adding 15% to that. So that is now the value. The second example would be discounting. So we just change the sign. Let's say you have 4,000 and you want to give discount 30%, minus 30 shift percent times the same value. So that has been discounted 30%. Now let's see how we can work with powers, roots, and inverse value. Now if you want to do 5 squared, we just type 5 and then this button, squared, and if I press equal, the answer is there. Or you can continue 5 squared plus something. You can do it also 5 with this button. This is for any power. In this case also we can do 2. If you want to do such expression, so second function, and you see we are in classic mode. I have to go mode, you see classic, come down, go to math print, enter, clear. Now second function, square root, and then fraction. Now we can do 8 times sine of 45, close the parenthesis, go with the arrow to the right or low. Let's go this time just low. 3 plus 7, 3 plus 7, and then enter. It has been evaluated. Now to do this expression, we press second function square root, and then 3 squared plus 2 to the power, let's say 4, and enter. That's the answer. For the inverse, first we have to understand that 1 over 5 is equal 5 to the power minus 1, so we can represent it that way as well. For example, 1 over 200, if you have it, we can just type 200 and press this button. You don't need to type 1 or over, just press this. It's already 1 over 200, and if you want to toggle it, here is the answer. Now let's see how we can do this expression. 5 squared plus 4 to the power, and then 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1, and then equal. It has been evaluated. If you need to do to the power minus 2, for example, 10 to the power, for minus we use this minus 2, and that's the answer. We can talk to do 10 to the power minus 2, we do 10 to the power. For the minus we use this minus and then 2, enter. We can toggle it if you want to see it like that. Now to enter sixth root of something instead of square root, we press second function, this button, and then 64, for example, and that's the answer. If you want to enter pi is a direct button here. I press it, press enter, you see the pi, toggle it to see the actual value. If you want to do 2 times pi, 2, just pi, you don't even have to do the multiplication. 2 pi, and toggle it to see it. So keep in mind that in calculation we have a lot of decimal places, but on the display you see here it says 5.3, it has been rounded as 5.4. So more values are not displayed, but in calculation they are considered. Now let's have an example. It says what is the area of the circle with the radius 12 centimeter. We know the formula A, or area, is equal pi r squared. R is in this case in the question 12, so we do pi 12 squared and enter. That's the value in terms of pi. If you want to toggle it, you can get decimal value. Now let's see how we can do angle conversion for degree, radian, and gradient. So first let's specify the unit that you want to convert to. Let's go to degree, for example, mode, make sure it is degree. If not, we can select the angle that we want and press enter. That will be selected, that unit. Convert to a unit, you must be in that target unit. For example, if you want to convert 45 degrees to radian, first we must be in radian. Go to mode with the arrow to the right, enter, and then clear to exit. Now we see our AD here, and type 45, second function, and this time we are using angle. Now in this screen we can select degree, minute, and second. We press 1 or press enter. In this case we can press enter. So it says 45 degrees, just press equal, and you will get the answer in terms of radian, pi over 4. If you want to toggle it, just do that. And let's say you want to convert 300 radians to degree. Target is degree. We are in radian. First, select the degree, mode. It's already selected. Enter, clear, and 300. Let's tell the calculator that this is radian, second function, angle, and go down. In this case, we mentioned 4. You can press 4 directly to go to 4, or you can go with this arrow 4 and enter. Now it says 300 radian and press enter. This is the degree angle. So if we have 15 degrees, 18 minutes and 35 seconds, sexagesimal, let's say, let's enter this one, clear, 5, second function, angle, and select degree, 1, and then 18 for the minute, 18, second function, automatically this is 2, and then 3, 1, 2, 3. So for the second, we use 35 second function and then 3. So 5 degrees, 18 minutes and 35 seconds. Press enter to get decimal value. This is converted if you need it to. If you want to add 25 minutes and 36 seconds plus 7 degrees, 11 minutes and 20 seconds, keep in mind that this is missing degree. So you must enter it, otherwise the calculator will give you error. So this must be added first. Now let's do that. So 0 shift 1, 0 degree, 25 shift angle 2, and then 36 shift angle 3. Now we have that, plus 7, 11, 20. So 7 shift angle 1, 11 shift angle 2, and then 20 shift angle 3 and 3. So 7 degree, 11 minutes, 20 seconds, and that value have been added. Now let's do some polar and rectangular conversion. We have polar, and for rectangular also there is another name called Cartesian. So keep that in mind. Depending on the book or your teacher, they may prefer to use Cartesian. And the angle, when we press shift angle, now we are seeing rectangular polar on the right side. So if I go with the arrow, you see a lot of options that you can get rectangular. For example, from rectangular convert to polar, get r, rectangular to polar, get theta, polar to rectangular, get x. And this arrow was showing that we had, this arrow shows we have something up now. Polar, get rectangular y. So here is an example. We have r equals 6, theta equals 37, 36.8. So theta is in here, and r is the magnitude of this vector or line, whatever you call it. And we want to find x and y. For the x and y is the point at the tip of this. So we can see the y in here and x for this value. So this is the coordinate of this point. Now to do that, let's press clear, second function, angle, go to the right, and this time we press 3. So this says from polar to rectangular, get x, and we enter 6, and then we enter comma, shift, and this button here, the dot or point. So then we enter 37, for example. This is just an example, and we got the answer. So this one says polar, get x in terms of rectangular, and this is the x value here and in here. Now I'm not going to press clear. Let's just continue getting y value, second function, this, go to the right, and this time 4, which is below this, I'm going to just press 4, and then 6 shift comma 37, and then press equal. So this is our x value, and this is our y value for that plot. Now we have another example here. X is 4, we want to find theta and the magnitude, r and theta, and x is the tip of this point minus 5, you see below this line, below this x-axis, and then 4 is here. So let's find out r and theta. Let's press clear, second function angle, and then go to the right and select 1, rectangular to polar, get r, and because x is 4, shift comma minus 5, I'm going to press this minus 5 and then press clear, enter. So we got the r value, and now let's get the theta, shift comma shift angle, go to the right, this time theta 2, and then for the same minus 5, shift comma minus 5 and enter. Now this shows the angle minus 51 degrees. It depends on the unit here. If this is radian, the value will be radian, so pay attention to that. And this is our theta. If you look at the plot, that theta is below this x-axis, so the answer is correct, which is minus 51. Here is example 3. R is 6, we have theta and r is 6, and this angle from here is 50. We want to find x and y for this value. But 50 degrees, let's see this theta, and we see here 90 degrees counterclockwise, another 90, and then 50. In this case, the theta in total for our equation should be 50 plus 90 plus 90, which is 230 degrees. So we will enter 230, or we enter all those values, 90, 90, and 50. So now I'm pressing clear, shift angle, select number 3. So shift angle, go to the right, and then 3. Now 6, shift comma. Now we can do math operation, 90 plus 30, which is 230, or you can just enter 230. That's minus 5. That's x is minus 5. What did I do? Something wrong. I entered 30. Let's say you made a mistake. So go up, it's highlighted, press enter, the value comes to the bottom, press delete, and make it 50 and enter. So this is the correct value. Now let's get y. Second function angle, go to the right, 4 for the y, and 6, shift comma, and 230 minus 4.59. So that is our y value, and as you saw, x is minus 3.8 to 3.8, and y is minus 4.59, which is correct. The answer is correct. Now let's do some trigonometric calculations. We have, for sine, cosine, and tangent, we will enter cosine, for example, 8.3 degrees. Sometimes you need to specify this unit, because if this is not degree, if I press mode, as you can see, this is not degree, it's radian. So the value will be assumed whatever is the default one. So now I select radian and press clear. So we can enter cosine of 8.3. Now cosine of 8.3 degree is this value. If I press mode and radian and clear, now it assumed that radian and 8.3 is minus 4.3. So keep that in mind. If you are in a radian and if you want to enter here degree, if you want to explicitly enter 8.3, this is how you do it. Press cosine of 8.3, and in this case second function angle, and from here we can see all these options and more. 1 is degree, so now it explicitly says 8.3, and if I press enter, the answer is in terms of degree, and the answer is in terms of degree. If you, let's say, sine of pi over 2 in terms of radian, if I so here press sine of pi over 2 with the arrow go to the right, and then angle, second function angle, let's go down until you see r, radian number 4. Now it says pi over 2 radian, close and equal, and we got the correct answer. I'm pressing clear. Now for a right angle triangle, this is supposed to be, so this is right angle triangle. If we have sine of this theta 0.8, the question would be, what is this theta? Or for cosine of this angle is cosine of theta is minus 0.5, what is the angle? This is the same way right angle, so we do inverse of 0.8 will give you the theta. For that we do like this, so we press second function and sine. Now it's inverse and 0.8, this is in radian. Now we have to enter it in, we have to say that this is, if you want the answer in degree, let's change mode, and then the degree is selected, press enter, highlight moved, clear, and then enter. It gives you now the degree. And if you want it in 2 decimal places, let's press mode, come here to the float and select 2. But remember to change it back, enter. Now 2 is highlighted, clear. If I press equal again, 53.13. And this is how we change the float. And let's say cosine of same thing. And if we want to do it for cosine, we use the second function with cos, which is in here, and we do it like this. We type cos, so we press second function cos, that's cos inverse. For minus we press this button and then 0.5 and enter. That's the answer, and it has been rounded to 2 decimal places, the same as before. Let's remove the 2 decimal places, come down to float and select enter. Now it has been removed, clear, and press enter. It shows at 120 degrees. Now if you want to do hyperbola, sine, cosine, and tangent, when you press second function hype, this hype, we will see HYP at the top of screen telling us that it has been pressed. And if you want to do sine hyperbola of 5.3, we press second function hype, hype is activated, press sine, now it's sine H 5.3 and press enter, we get the answer. We have also inverse hyperbola for sine, cosine, and tangent, so there is inverse. Before there was no inverse, and for that inverse of sine hyperbola of 100. Let's change it to radian first, mode, go to the radian, enter, now and then clear. Now let's say cosine, cos hyperbola, inverse of cos hyperbola of 5. So we press second function hype to select hyperbola, and again second function for the inverse of cosine. Again second function cos. Now it says cosine hyperbola inverse, and then 5. Enter. We got the answer. If you want to do tangent, the same way, second function hype, that's for hyperbola, and then second function tan. Now it's inverse hyperbola of tangent 0.8. By the way, this value cannot, it must be smaller than 1, 0.999, but not equal 1. Now let's do logarithmic and exponential functions. Logarithmic and exponential functions. If it's log of 45, we have a log button, press all clear, log 45, and if you have some other operation, close it and continue with something else. If there is nothing, you can just press enter without even closing, it will work fine. Remember, when we do log log of 45, this is actually base 10. We don't write it because 10 is by default. We assume that base 10 when it's empty. So this is the same as log base 10 of 45. And this calculator, unfortunately, cannot do log base 5 or log base something else. So get the other model, which is better than this. And if you want to do natural logarithm or ln, logarithm natural, so press ln 5, and then if you want to multiply it by 2, let's say like that, close it and 2. We don't even need to put a multiplication because it works fine. Let's try it and to show you. Log of 5 close times 2, the answer is the same. If you need exponential 10 to the power 5, so we have some value which has a base 10. In that case, second function and then this base 10 to the power 5, so it's automatically. Now 2 decimal place is shown. The reason for that is from previous calculation we forgot to change it. Go to mode and you see 2 decimal place. Let's go to come down and then let's go back to, so in this case come down to float and enter. 2 is moved, clear, and if I do this again, it's shown without a decimal place. 10 to the power 2, 10 we can do squared, or 10 to the power 2. Both of these are exactly the same. Now if you want to do, let's say 17 to the power log of 15, here is what you do. 17 to the power, now you are allowed to do log of 5 and then equal, without even closing, it will work. But if you have some other operation, you must close it. Now let's see if we have, if you're in classic mode, press this button, mode, come down to classic, enter, math parent has been moved, clear. Now let's do the same thing, 17 to the power, it became like that. So you must open a parenthesis and then say log 5, close the log and close. So this is for this closing and that closing is for the top, and we get the answer. So let's go back to mode, come back and select it to math parent. If you want Euler number to some power, we have a dedicated key for that. Second function e, that's Euler number to the power 11. That is our value. If you just need Euler number, so second function e and then put to the power 1, that's the actual Euler number. Now let's work with statistics. To go in statistic mode, we press second function and stat. This button is stat. And from this screen we can select one variable statistics or 2 variables. This portion is available only if you do a calculation, which I've already done, so I'm going to show you later. Don't worry if you don't see it. N is number of x or xy data points. X bar or y bar means mean of all x or y values. This Sx or Sy is sample standard deviation of x or y. And this is population standard deviation of x or y. This is sum of all x or y, and this is sum of all x squared or y squared. and sum of x, y for all x and y's, and A is a linear regression slope, B is linear regression y-intercept, R is coefficient, correlation coefficient, and x bar, or sometimes x hat, for two variable uses A and B to calculate predicted x value when inputting a y value. And this for two variable y hat or y bar uses A and B to calculate predicted y value when input an x value. Man x is minimum of x value, and Q1 is median of the element between minimum x and median for first quartile, and this is for the third quartile. And max x is maximum of x value. To work with statistics, we define statistical data points. We have three lists: L1, L2, and L3. You can press that, clear the data, press data once and then twice, and 4 means all of them. This is clearing L1, L2. If you press 2, if you press 3, that will be L3. 4 is a shortcut, just all, so it clears all the data. Now this is example 1. In one variable, find a mean of this value in L1. So I'm already in L1. We have already cleared the data. If not, just follow this when you're on this screen. So press data, and now I'm entering 45. I can press enter like that, or you can press arrow, for example. So 45, 55, 55, 55. There is this 55, 55, down, 55, down, and 55, down. So we are done with entering them. We can press second function stat and 1, and on this screen you go down, and 1 is selected, the frequency, because we don't have any frequency, and then down, and now we press calc, which means calculate the values. Now it has been calculated and we have the values here. Now we can see the values, all of them, n, mean, standard deviation, all the values are available to be viewed, or if I press enter, they will enter on the table. But let's press clear to get out of this window and clear again. So we pressed it twice. Now to get the mean, second function stat. Now the screen has changed and we have stat vars number 3 and number 3, and we can see the mean is this value. If you want to use it on the screen, either press enter with the arrow come, either with the arrow come to the number and press enter, or simply press 2. That's mean. If I press equal, I can see it. If you want to multiply it by 2, I'm going up and up, the value is there, press enter, the value appears, and then multiply by 2. Either from the same screen you could multiply it by 2, or just bring it on the screen and do that. Now this is example 2. We are in two variable. We want to find x prime at 45. These are our data, 4535. This is one value, this is x or y, and this is another x or y. So let's press data 4. We cleared everything, and let's enter these values on the screen, 4, 5, and then go down 5, 5. So we are entering x values for the L1. So that has been entered. Now go with the arrow to the right and enter 35 and 25. 35 down, and then 25 down, or enter. Now on the screen press second function and then 2. We select two variables, and in here we select L1 and L2. L1 is selected, L2 is already selected. If not, we could select for the X data and Y data. You see the menu has changed, and press calc, and I press enter. So second function and quit. We quitted from that screen. Now let's get X bar and evaluate it at 45. And by the way, the value was if you want to see the variables, press second function data, and now because we did the calculation, we can see them, all of them. So X and Y bar are here. X prime, Y prime should be somewhere here. Yes, like that. So I'm pressing clear. Now we want to get this and get you want to get X prime and evaluate it with 45. So second function this, and 3, we get the variables. As I mentioned, we just from here we can go up. It rotates from the bottom, so quickly X and press enter. Now we got X prime and enter 45, close it and press enter, and that is the evaluated value. And that's the evaluated value. And here's example 3. We have Ahmad's score. This is a test 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the scores are 12, 13, 10, and 11. And we have coefficient. And here's example 3. We have Ahmad's score. This is a test 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the scores are 12, 13, 10, and 11. And we have coefficient. For test 1, coefficient is 1, and 3 is also 1. The weight is 1. And for test 2 and 4, the weight is 0.5 and 0.5. Now the question says, find the average grade. 2, what is the value of n given by the calculator represent? What does the value of summation of x given by the calculator represent? So there is a reminder that using this we can find the average weight. Using this formula we can calculate, for example, all the mark times the coefficient, mark times the coefficient of each test, and then divided by the coefficient or weight. And number 3, the teacher gave Ahmad 4 more points on the test 4 due to the grading error. Find Ahmad's new average grade. Now first let's clear the data. Press data once, twice, and then 4. Data is cleared. And then press data and then go to the right, formula. And in here we go number 5, which means clear all formulas. So I can enter or press 5. So formula have been also cleared. Let's enter data score into L1. We are now here in L1. So I'm entering 12, going down, 13, down, 10, down, and 11, down. After that, let's enter the coefficient into L2, go to the next line. When I move it to the right, when I move the cursor to the right, it goes at the first row, 105, 105. So it's 1, 0.5, and 1, 0.5. Let's press enter. It has been done. Then second function and start. Let's select one variable and go to the right. So come down and then go to the right. We want to make sure we select L2. So L1 and L2 is selected. And here press enter. Now we have the values shown here, L1, L2, N, and all the other variables are available. This arrow shows we have more. So the mean is 11.333, and this X bar shows the average of marks for Ahmad, which is 11.3. And N here represents the total sum of weights, because 1 plus 0.5 plus 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.5, it gives you 3. And the summation, if I go down here, sum of X, represents the weighted sum of his scores. So we saw this by scrolling down. Now change the Ahmad's last score from 11 to 15. Now press data, scroll down until you see, and now we come to 11 and just type 15 and enter. So 11 is now changed to 15. Now let's press second function and start, and in this case 1, and then come down, make sure L2 is selected and come down, and then enter. Now it's calculating. As you can see, the average grade is now 12. Before it was 11.33. Now this is now example number 4, and we have a breaking test data. This is test number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we have speed kilometer per hour. The kilometer per hour is 33, 49, 65, and 70, and braking distance. At this speed, the braking distance, when you apply brake, would be 5.3 meter. At 49, it jumps to 14.45 meter. This is meter. I forgot to put the unit here. And for the 65, it's longer, and 75, very long. Now, using the relationship between the speed and the braking distance to estimate the braking distance required for a vehicle traveling at 55. We have all the values, but we don't have 55. So based on this, we want to predict or estimate the braking distance for 55 km per hour. A hand-drawn scatter plot of these data points suggests a linear relationship. The TI-30XS multiview calculator uses the least squares method to find the line of best fit. Y hat or Y prime is equal AX prime plus B for the data in the list. Now let's clear the data. Press data, data, and then 4. So it has cleared it. Now let's enter for L1 these values. 33, 49, 65, and 79. And I entered it, go to the L2, and 5.3, 14.45, 20.21, and 38.45. All the data have been entered. From this screen we exit, press clear, and then we press second function start, select 2, come down and see, and then calculate. So the calculation is done. Now if you scroll down to A and B, so A is 0.67 for the Y prime, that's the coefficient of X, and then B is minus 18. Our formula is like that. Now scroll down until we see Y prime. That was X, this is Y prime. Remember, we exited from the data. This is very important. I press enter. Now this formula appears here. We can put 5, close it. Now we can use this in our calculation, or simply press to get the calculated value outside the table. So the linear model gives an estimated braking distance of 18.59 meter for vehicle traveling at 55 km per hour. Now let's do some probability calculation with this calculator. PRB key displays two menu options. If I press PRB, we will see that PRB, and there is RAND. I can go to the right and see the options available when we go with the arrow left or right. So PRB and RAND. PRB contains the following options: NPR and NCR. NPR is a number of possible permutation, and NCR is number of possible combinations in simple. And then we have factorial. If I go to the left, we will see we have factorial. Factorial 4, for example, is 1 times 2 times 3 to 4. Whatever this digit is, it will be multiplied. But the limitation is that it cannot exceed 69, so it must be equal or less than 69. Example number 1. How many 4 digits can be produced using number 1 to 7? Let's do this one. So we press 7, clear, 7 and PRB, and then we select 1 NPR, this option, 1, and then 4. Enter. So the total 840 numbers can be produced if we pick 4 numbers from 1 to 7. Now example number 2, what is the total possible way of picking 6 balls out of 49? So this is happening, and this is used in lottery. So 49 and then PRB, this time number 2, NCR, and then 6. So that means 6 out of 49. So press enter. As you can see, it shows 13.98 or 14 million possibilities. To understand it better, let's say there is a room or container that can have 14 million grains of rice or wheat in this case, and each grain has a number, and 1 grain belongs to you, which is your lottery, and your number is on that grain. And you ask someone to go pick up 1 grain, and you're hoping that he will pick up your grain. That is where your chance is 1 in 14 million. So your money is wasted if you do that. So do not buy lottery. Your money is wasted. Purchase orange juice instead. It's good for you. Now for factorial, press 4, and then we bring the symbol PRB and number 3, factorial. So we have factorial, and press enter. That's 24. If you want to do, let's say, 18 factorial, 18 PRB 3, and enter, you see this is huge. Let's say 12 PRB 3. This is a little smaller, but still huge number. Now let's have a look at the math tools. If you press data, this button, the data lets you enter data in 3 lists of up to 42. Up to 42 items. We can go up to second function, up to the top of the row. We have already here second function down. It gives you, bring you to the bottom, and this gives you to the top of the list. List formula accepts all calculator functions, entering data into L1. This is one example. So we are doing this in L1. We are entering all these values. So first let's clear data. I press clear data twice, and then 4. It clears everything. And then let's enter screen. If not, press data. You will be here. 1/4, and then go down. Then 2/4 down. 3/4 down, and then 4/4. Once you are done with all of them, press enter. So the values have been entered. Using formula to convert data from L1 as a decimal into L2. We are using formula. Now, while in the table, move to L2 with the arrow. I'm going to the right side. And press data. You see this screen with the arrow, go to formula. And then we select number 1, edit, create, add or edit. This will allow us to bring L2 here to enter our formula for this cell. We want to enter data L1 in here. So press data and press 1. So L1 is now there, and we want to use it fraction decimal option to be applied to this value. So fraction decimal, we just explained it at the beginning of video. Second function, fraction decimal, and press enter. Once you do that, the whole column have been converted to decimal. So this value have been converted to decimal using the formula, and all of the rows, all of the cells have been filled up. Here is a problem that we need to solve. In November, the weather is listed for these cities: Paris in France, 8 degrees Celsius, Moscow, Russia, -1 degree Celsius, Toronto, Canada, 4 degrees Celsius. Convert them from Celsius degree to Fahrenheit, and the formula for Fahrenheit is 9 over 5. 9 over 5 times Celsius value plus 32. So to clear data, press data and then 4. We clear all data, and now press data, go to the right, and then go to the number 5, clear all formula, because the formula we created might be there. And let's enter 8 minus 1 and 4. 8 down, minus, for minus I'm using this button, minus 1, down, and 4. Once it's all done, come down and go to the right. We are now in L2. While we are in this screen, we press data, go to the right, formula, and then 1. L2 is now there. Now we do 9 divided by 5 times L1. We want to say data 1. Data, you will see now L1. So 9 over 5 times L1. This is the formula, 9 over 5 times whatever is value in L1 in this column plus 32. And then press enter. All the values have been calculated. So 8 is 46.4, and minus 1 is 30.2, and 4 is 39.2 Fahrenheit. So if Sydney, Australia is 21 degrees Celsius, find the temperature in Fahrenheit. So for that, we just come down and go to the left and enter the value 21 and press enter. Automatically it calculates it for you because the whole column is under the same formula because it's L2. Now let's have a look at the function table. The function table allows you to display a defined function in a tabular form. For example, you can have f of x, 2x squared plus 5x plus 3, and evaluate it with x equal 1 in an increment of 1. Or x equal whatever value you want. So start with x equal 1. So for that, we press table, and you will see this. So we enter a function. We ask for initial value of x and then increment steps. Auto means automatically x will be added, and if we select, so let's enter our function here 2. I'm pressing this. Problem number 1. Find the vertex of the parabola y is equal x multiplied by 36 minus x using table of values. So vertex is where the parabola returns back, and this is a point of symmetry. So now let's enter this value. I'm pressing clear and table. I press clear so you're with me, and then table, press x, and then open parenthesis 36 minus, and then again x, and then close it and press enter. Once you're done, start for the start. Here, if there is a number, press clear, it will be cleared, enter 15, and then go down. And if there is a number, clear, press 3, and then go twice down. Auto, we don't select ask x, and down, click OK. Now the value have been evaluated with that formula. X is 15, y is this much, and looking at x equal 18, we see that y is 324, and it is the turning point of the value. This seems closer to the vertex. So 315, 18 is 342, and again become 315. So it means it comes 315, so 324, and it comes back. So that is a turning point. Change the step value to see the closer value to the vertex. So let's press table. This is the value 15, and a step value, let's make it 2, and then come down and OK. Now the values have been changed. Let's see, 323, 23, 2015. So 2 values. Perhaps I have to go table, enter, and then maybe 1 is better. Go down, enter. So now 18 is 3. So we have 323, 324, 323. So very close value. Before it was 315. So 18 is indeed the vertex value. So this is problem number 2. A charity collects $3,600 to help support a local food kitchen. $450 will be given to the food kitchen every month until the fund runs out. How many months will the charity support the kitchen? So remember, if x is equal month, y is equal money left, then y is equal 3,600 minus 450 times x. So let's go with the table and enter our formula. I'm pressing clear. You see the clear is very useful. 3,600 minus 450x. Press enter and start with 0, clear, and then 0, and then step 1 and down. It goes to the right, ask, enter, and then come OK. Now on this screen we enter 2 equal, you see, 2,700. Let's say 6, 900. We are entering value until we see it is 0. So 7, it's 450, and 8, it is 0. So we continue until 0, and the support of 450 per month will last for 8 months. At 8 months it will be 0. Since y at 8 is equal 3,600 minus 450 times 8 is equal 0, as shown in the table. To quit, press second function, quit from the table. Second function and k here, this is a constant, and it brings you the k, where let you define a constant. The combination of numbers, operators, and or values up to 44 characters can be entered here. When you press enter after the constant is defined, this calculator recalls the stored operator and applies into the last answer or the current entry. So I've pressed already enter. If not, press second function and k, and say multiply by 2 plus multiply by, you see multiply came, 2 plus 3, and enter. Now this is there, and we can recall it. Now let's enter 6 and enter. So 6, enter. You see it becomes 15. Why? This constant came from this k that we have. So we said that whatever the value is entered, multiply it by this. So we can put very complicated expression here to do it for you. And if I press enter, it is multiplied by the result of 2 plus 3. And the same way we can do sine of 45 and enter. Oh, this is now incorrect. Sine 45 and then close it. Now we get different answer. This time we need to close it. Another problem. Given the linear function y is equal 5x minus 2, calculate y for the x minus 5 and x minus 1. So this is our function, and these are the value. Second function k, and let's clear it and enter this value. So x 5 minus 2, clear, times 5 minus 2, and enter. So 5 minus 2, so whatever is value times 5 minus 2. Now let's use our constant, minus 5, and enter. It's minus 27, so minus 5 is our x, times 5 minus 2. It's done. And again minus 1, and these two values have been evaluated to be minus 27, and these values have been evaluated to be minus 27 and minus 7. Reference information. When we see error message, it says argument. A function does not have the correct number of arguments. Divide by 0. If you see it on the screen, it means you attempted to divide by 0. In statistics, it means n is equal 1. Domain, you specified an argument to a function outside the valid range. For example, these are the values for x root of y, x is equal 0, for example, or y is smaller than 0, and all these conditions. Equation length, entry exceeds the length of 80 for statistic and 47 for constant. FRQ domain, in one variable statistic less than 0 or greater than 99. Dimension mismatch, attempted to create a formula when the list is not of equal length. If you see formula, the formula does not contain the list name. For syntax, it means you did not respect the way that data should be entered, or more than 32 pending operation or 8 pending values have been entered, and having a misplaced function, argument, parentheses, or commas. Or if fraction is used, try using this division. Invalid function entered into the table. If you see memory limit error, the calculation has too many pending operations, like more than 23. Memory limit, if using k, you attempted to enter more than 4 level of nested functions, square root or e to the x or 10 to x. Low battery, if you get low battery, it means replace the battery. Now some battery information. The battery is 3 volts lithium CR2032, and do not leave it within the reach of children. Do not recharge the battery. Pay attention to the polarity, positive and negative. If there is a poisoning involved, call for help at this number. Perhaps this is US and Canada number. And let me show you how to replace the battery now. For this calculator, we have 6 screws. Just get a Phillips screwdriver. And remove the cover like this. Battery is secured with these screws. This is different screw, metal screw. And then you push it this way to remove that clip. And the battery is lithium CR2032. Measure the voltage of the battery. 3 volts, so the battery is 3 volts. Make sure this side is down and the label is up. That side is up. And again we will insert this piece, this side, and push it inward. So the clip goes under this plastic here. There is a piece of plastic. Once it's inserted, now you can see it's secured, it's not coming up, and we put the screws. Now let's have a look at the component under the magnifier. On the left side of the battery here, we have this capacitor. This is the capacitor, and then the rest of the components. Are shown. This is the main chip that does all the calculation. To put it back, simply we insert this and it snaps. Thank you for watching. This was a full manual for Texas Instrument TI-30XS Multiview Scientific Calculator. Please thumb up the video, and also if you have comment or question, post it below the video. Share the video. I appreciate it. If you want to purchase this calculator, the affiliated links are below this video. If you purchase it, I will get some commission. It will help me. Thank you.